This is Moneyline Mania with Chaz and the crew.
It has been a crazy week in sports, and why not have the two most famous handicappers on our network, Chaz and Worldwide Wes. What's going on, Chaz?
I don't know about the numbers. Wes and I really have not been a big bragger on our numbers over the years. What we look at is the money. That's why it's 151 sports investing. It's not 151 sports. I got a good winning percentage, right, Wes?
That's just it. And we talk on the Discord page and on 151, all the members, the bankroll management side, but is about investing and cashing tickets. And we are certainly doing that.
Everything that I have seen you guys do, and it's not just Wes, it's not just you, Chaz, but it's Hector, it's Mo. Everybody has really hit on a lot of their picks. And you guys are over 80% on this network, all the different picks that you have. Every week you have up to 8 picks, and I would say most of the time, 6 out of the 8 is right.
We had 10-2 last Saturday. If you got up at 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern time on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and you watched Wake and Bake last Saturday, it was 10-2.
We're very excited to have you guys on. So are you boys ready?
We've had a strong start to college. We were on Florida State with week 0 and the points. We called Northwestern. I love the points. I even said on this very show that Northwestern might even win that game outright. And what did they do? They beat Nebraska. I had a lot of different feelings about that one. We called that one out. Penn State a couple nights ago. We loved that one. And I think it was Pitt on the over.
Team total over.
Yep. The whole world was thinking that Kenny Pickett is in the NFL, and we got that one. So what I'm looking at this week, I'm going to kind of go opposite of what a lot of the popularity is, but I'm looking tomorrow night. I am looking at the Florida State LSU, and I understand the venue. I understand what the environment is like. I also understand that that is not a team that has been very well recruited before they changed coaches. I think that it's going to be a somewhat slow start. Florida State, I realize that the win they're coming off of was not against an SEC team. But they had 3 100-yard rushers. That is exactly what the doctor ordered going into LSU at nighttime. Their O-line was clicking on all cylinders. Their D looked good. This is 3 points. I like FSU to cover the 3, possibly win the game at Baton Rouge tomorrow night.
If you like a road team early in the year like this, we're not talking about Western Alabama going to play Alabama, when it's a 39-point spread. I'm talking about games where there's 2 games, right? There's this game, and then there's the Oregon-Georgia game that are top games. There's the Notre Dame, Ohio State. These are the top games, and even in those other games, there's 17 points. Think about that. You got 2 top 5 matchups, and there's 17-point spreads. But if it's a game where it's 3 or 4, you have to have some money line action just in case you were right. If you're right and you don't have it, you still cash the ticket. But I'm a big believer, guys, in thinking ahead. What happens if I win this? How will I be? If I lose this, how will I be? And if I lose this, then I'm going to be ticked. Especially, it's not a loss as much as I didn't bet a money line dog, and I should have. It pisses you off for about a day and a half, at least 36 hours.
The other thing I'm looking at with this game, you look for value on some of these games. The line opened at plus 3.5. 85% of the public is on LSU, and the spread moved to 3. So that tells me that all the money, the remaining 15%, all the money is on the other side. Either Vegas is comfortable being exposed on the other side of it, or there's some tremendous money going on Florida State because the spread moved against LSU. It moved in favor of Florida State. There's tremendous value there, and I'm going against public. I love the game.
Again, if you've never, ever bet at sports betting, and you ask me, you've heard me say this many times, Wes, don't start. What's your best advice? I would say don't start. She's going to break your heart. It's going to happen. But if you are going to start, bet against the public. They're always idiots, right? Is the public not always idiots? In the last 2 years, if they haven't proven it, then you've kind of been living under a cliff or something,
Living under a rock would be the saying.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
I'm going to leave it there for the week. Feeling good about our start. I'm feeling good about the game tomorrow night, and I'm kind of boring, but if you got one winner, why bother?
Well, here's the thing. You do it differently. When you're waking up and you're hitting college football in waves on a Saturday, the game started at 9. They go again at noon, and then they go again at 3. Now, my time and your time is different, of course. And Wes and Mohammed, they'll tell you it's a 14-hour day. So when you can have, hey, you know what? I only like this big play tonight. I'm going to make it special. It's not the only game on the board, or Wes wouldn't be betting it. But it's just the only game he likes. And this way, you get your whole day to yourself. God forbid you get 3 great hours of football and you win. Life is good, because when you win, guys, at sports betting, that evening is a special night. It's like probably 15 milligrams of a good sativa THC gummy bear. Now, most gummy bears, as you know, most are 5s and 10s, so you don't really get a 15 milligram gummy. You got to buy 5s and eat 3, or buy 10s and chew 1.5, or give one away. A lot of times, if it's my wife or my kid, I'll buy 1.5 and give it to them. They'll eat it. I don't recommend that at bars with strangers, because you never know. I'm looking at this Notre Dame Ohio State game.
About that one for sure.
This is the one I mentioned earlier, basically 17 points. I think it's gone down a little, but the Georgia game earlier in the day is going to be 17 points. This game's 17 points, but these are matchups of top 5 teams, right? Number 5 and number 2, Notre Dame and Ohio State. That doesn't make sense, okay? If you're 15 points better than me, then you're more than 3 in the frickin' poll better than me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So what are the odds that Ohio State is overranked or Notre Dame is overranked? Well, I'm leaning Notre Dame is overranked. Now, I've not been a big Kelly fan from day one, because he's got that harness, and I don't know who controls the harness, but it gets tight when the games get big and they don't show up. You're not breaking that culture in one offseason. You're not. That's my opinion. Remember, when you're dealing with stuff that comes from the president of the university, down to the athletic director, down to the coach, it's built in there. Notre Dame's really, right? Doesn't Notre Dame live in their own little reality? They do. They think they're the greatest thing. All their coaches that ever coached have passed away. They have no living coaches, I don't think, with championship rings. That means it's a long time ago. Get up, wake up, smell the roses. I don't think they're 5-point favorites. Whether I'm going to go that way, I'm thinking, I don't know. I like the over here. Ohio State gets scorned. I don't think I want to get backdoored and Ohio State wins by 13. That to me, they dominate the whole game. This is a big game for Ohio State. If they're up by 30 points or 27 points, they'll put some kids in, and they'll get these kids be able to say they helped beat Notre Dame, and what it'll do for them at the end of the year and their career. But it also gives you the opportunity for a backdoor. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to sprinkle Ohio State in the over, but I don't think I'm going to have Ohio State. I'm going to have their team total over, too, which would make sense, right? If you like my logic, you would say yes. Bet the team total over for Ohio State. So those are my 3 plays. We're going to bet the over, team total over, and a little parlay with Ohio State and the over. But hopefully, if you missed, we've already started the segment and they missed it, they got to go to live action, then you can't do the parlay. But Wes and I don't really miss much with live action, do we, Wes?
And Wes isn't missing Ohio State, that's for sure.
No, and what I'll tell you, Ohio State, they can get off to slow starts. They can get you about 1 possession and a punt into the first quarter, to where that live drops a little bit. I watch every Ohio State game, and there's some opportunity there. They're averaging over 40 points a game. Chaz, to piggyback on the point you made, the game total is 59 points. So if you got a team that statistically is good for 40, you're only asking the number 5 team in the country to come to you with another 19 to 20 points. Ohio State's defense has not been good. There's all kinds of preseason talk of their defense has gotten better and they got a new D coordinator. I'll believe it when I see it. But to support your point of 59 points, Ohio State's getting those points. But on the live action side of things too, they can give you some opportunity early just simply by not scoring on the first drive. You're going to find a tremendous discount.
It's very possible. If Notre Dame scores first, both Wes and I will need ice on our thumbs from clicking on all the bets on Ohio State that we will make.
That's exactly it. Now, for me, Notre Dame doesn't belong ranked number 5. For me, Notre Dame doesn't belong in the top 10. I am not against Notre Dame, and I'm not saying that because I bleed Ohio State. I have a problem with these rankings in general, but they're going to work themselves out. As I expressed last week, and as everybody saw earlier, Utah at number 7 just didn't make sense to me. And you just keep going top to bottom. NC State, number 13. These rankings
I think they could get upset this week.
Or the Pirates are.
That's a team that can put up points, and they really don't care what your rank is. So these rankings are a little odd, but you get no arguments out of me taking Ohio State in points.
I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. You guys are awesome, and we'll see where your picks lie. And all the handicappers, if you haven't listened to this segment, you have to listen to it every single Saturday between 7 and 9 Moneyline, the Weekend Crunch. Moneyline Mania, the best handicappers in the country as they make their picks for the week and the weekend. So definitely check it out every single week because they are the best. Thank you, Wes, and thank you, Chaz.
Yeah, always be cashing, guys.
Always be cashing.